Hello everyone. Welcome to another webinar session. My name is Venu. I'm a lead developer here at TechGrit. So today we're going to be talking about AI tools for code reviews. So with me, I have Mehek, who's a colleague. So we have been working together for almost 4 years now. So right now, even though we work in different projects on different tech stacks, we have similar insights to share for today's session. So Mehek, if you want to introduce yourself.
Yeah, thank you, Venu, for introducing me. So, hello everyone. Myself, Mehek. I have been working as a software developer at TechGrit for quite some time now. And even though Venu and I work on different teams and different stacks, we have both been experimenting and exploring these AI code review tools for quite some time, and have also been trying to integrate these into our own development cycle. So, honestly, looking forward to sharing our experiences with all of you today.
Right. So this is interesting, right? Because when we first started looking into these code review tools, I remember reading these comments online. So most people did not find them very useful. People thought that these tools lack context and they always used to give false positives. And most
Mhm.
people thought that these tools were wasting their time. There is definitely some truth to it, but our experience has been mostly positive, right?
Right, right. I also saw those reviews, but as you mentioned, our experience has been slightly different after using them actually in our development processes. So we have actually observed some real productivity gains. According to that, like we have seen some faster code reviews, more consistent code quality across the code base, as well as like the onboarding of the new developers has also been a lot smoother than it was previously.
Right. And that's exactly also why we are doing this session today, right?
Mhm.
We want to share what has worked out for us and what didn't. So
Mhm.
hopefully, so for anyone who is joining this session, by the end of this, you should be in a good place to start configuring this in your own workflows.
Exactly.
So with that context set, let's dive right into it. I think a good start maybe is, Mehak, we can start talking about the most painful process of code reviews, right? Because I've been reviewing PRs for almost 5 years now, and you have a similar
Mhm.
experience. So,
Mhm.
what's your take on this?
Yeah. So, as you just mentioned, like we have been reviewing the PRs for quite some time now, and if I have to share my personal experience on the same, I'll start from the basics. So back then, our process was pretty standard. We would write the code, raise the PR, and then wait for the reviewers to notice it, pick it up, and then start sharing their feedback. And for us, it was not just one reviewer that we had to get the approval from. It was like two reviewers, which depends upon team to team and projects to projects as well, before anything could be merged. So you can just imagine like how tedious task it could be, because if the PRs were huge or they included some big changes or new features, it just turned into a long and tiring cycle where the reviewers would just go through every detail, catching the bugs, pointing out the issues, and then suggesting the improvements. And we'll go back, fix those things, push again, and wait for the another round of the same thing. So it was like back and forth dance between both the developer and the reviewer, and sometimes it took a long time, at maybe some few days as well. So even after all that, considering all these steps also, there was still times like when a tiny logic issue or some like bugs could still sneak through these which might come up later on in the testing, or worse after the deployment. So this has been my personal experience with these traditional code reviews. What about you, Venu? Any interesting stories that you might want to share with us?
Right. So mostly similar experiences, right? So as someone reviewing the PR, you would always want to focus on the important things, right? The logical part, the architectural decisions, and but instead you end up focusing on all the minor spacing issues and naming conventions and not so fancy things.
Yeah.
So And another especially frustrating part of this process is when you're onboarding new resources, right? So, I mean, you have this code practices and style get documented, but also in a team there are always these unspoken contracts that you cannot document, right? You just need some getting used to
Right.
understand those contracts. So that is another area. And also onboarding or working with junior resources, right?
Mm-hmm.
With junior resources you want to give them the freedom to make mistakes and learn from them, but at the
Right.
same time you don't want to be spending time correcting their mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another frustrating area I think AI is now helping a lot with. uh, but yeah, the experiences are mostly similar.
Right. Just to add to this, I would like to mention, like, as the teams grow, this challenge only grows. Like, with dozens of the PRs that come up every day to be reviewed, the for the reviewer, it becomes very difficult to grab the context, understand the requirements, and then go through each of them one by one and look into the issues and security risk. It just leads to review fatigue, and also raises the possibility of missing some small bugs or logical issues which might become critical later on, after discovering in the later stages, if
So
slipped through.
yeah, I mean it's totally very common issues that we all face, right?
Yes.
uh, all right, so now we have these pain points, and how does AI help in addressing these challenges? Because over the last 2 years, with vibe coding, we are only seeing a lot more PRs. People are raising a lot more PRs than they would normally do, right? So,
Yeah.
are there any vibe reviewing tools available out there?
Yeah, just like you mentioned, like there has been a revolution in this AI field lately. And in our earlier webinars, we have mostly talked about using those AI tools while writing the code and integrating them in our development part of the process, like using usage of Copilot, Cursor, and other tools, which can help us in the development part. But now, with the rapid development, AI has also moved further and has entered the space of this code reviews as well. So the only difference is that, unlike the AI agents where we type in prompts and get our queries answered by them, these tools are available as extensions or GitHub apps or bots, which we can like plug them right into our workflow, into our GitHub spaces, and just set them up once, connect it to our repositories or add them to our CI/CD pipeline, and then from there on they can pick up our any pull request that might come in, and will instantly analyze those and give us some feedback explaining what has happened and what has not. And this is the exact process that we have also tried to include in our project development cycle as well, and it has actually made a huge difference for us. Like, our review cycles have actually become 30 to 40% faster over here, and now the new developers are also starting to learn these coding standards through the feedback they are getting instantly, which used to previously take some time until the reviewers sent back the feedback, and the tedious process which I earlier mentioned.
Right. No, again, like you mentioned, the good thing is these are all plug and play components, right? There is no getting used to these tools. Unlike, no, let's say these vibe coding tools, you have to get used to a new IDE, Cursor, or Windsurf or whatever tools. But with these reviewing tools, you just have to configure this on your repository, and they are working for you in the background. So
Right.
this is another good thing that we have. So
Exactly.
how do these tools work? What are they doing exactly in the background?
Yeah, so after using them for quite some time, we have a few observations, like how they are reviewing and what they are reviewing or what they are actually catching up with. So some of the observations that I'd like to share over here is, firstly, they are helping us catch some potential bugs and security risks. which could be minor or major, but it depends. It can be like null pointers, some unsafe queries like SQL injection risk, some memory leaks, or things that can be often overlooked. Then it is also helping us in maintaining that consistency of the coding standards across the team. So it understands the how the code is being done by all the team developers, and then reviews the PRs so that to maintain those standard, ensuring those consistent naming conventions, formatting, and the coding patterns across the team. And then is my personal favorite, which is the summaries of the PRs that these tools are providing. Actually, it actually helps us in understanding what this pull request is all about, what has been the changes that are done, where the changes were done, and what are the actual logical things the reviewer will have to look into. And yeah, this has been my personal favorite. There is one more thing that I'd like to add is it is also not just nitpicking and telling the issues. It is even providing suggestions of its own and helping us optimize the loops, simplifying the conditions, or mentioning about what could be done better or in what way it could be done better.
Right. So, and you mentioned security risks and code styling and consistencies, right? I think it's important to highlight that these things, the AI tools are very different from the static analysis tools. So it is, for example, something like Sonar Cube. It is very easy to fool around. You can easily satisfy the tool, but the way you do it is by writing even messier code.
Right.
But with AI review tools, you cannot fool around so easily. I think this is another advantage that we have.
Exactly. So these static analysis tools are like bit of a strict teacher. They have to follow these certain rules, and the developers can sneak through, as you mentioned, by writing some messier code. But AI review tools are basically mentors. They try to understand the context or the intent of the developer, and then they also help to guide with the contextual feedback overall. So both are useful, but I think together they actually make a more powerful combination, and yeah, which can help us integrate better quality code overall.
Right. I think a combination of both the static analysis tools and these code review tools would that would be a good workflow to have. Yeah.
Right. So, Venu, I have shared my thoughts about these. Now, what about you? What do you think about, like, is AI actually saving us some time, or is it just adding additional overhead in this code review perspective?
Well, in my case, it has definitely saved a lot of time. So I mean, in many areas, like the development cycles have definitely become much faster. So most of the times, I'm only having to review the PRs that are already initially screened by these review tools, right? So it's mostly I have to take decisions on architecture and design level things. All the nitpicking I don't have to do, all the formatting and inconsistencies, these are all already taken care of. So that's a very huge advantage. It's saving a lot of time. And the overall code quality has also improved because these tools can catch a lot more bugs than when you manually review. It's very difficult for you to notice all the cases. So that's another case. And yeah, the onboarding new devs has also become much faster because you let them do their mistakes, and then you have this AI which is infinitely patient that would give them feedback as long as they would like, right? So overall, I've seen faster development cycles, and the overall burnout is also a lot. We're not wasting a lot of time. So my experience has been mostly positive.
Yeah, right. So when you have to handle like multiple PRs a day, it sometimes gets hectic, and it is very easy to not understand what might be happening over there, and easy to miss slight bugs or something. So yeah, as I mentioned, my favorite part, the summaries, it really helps us out in understanding what is happening and what should be more deep dive into as a second pass after the first screening has been done with the AI, right?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, this definitely clearly, adds value. But the other important question that that everyone would have is, what tools are worth using? Like, there are so many options available in the market. So what are the best ones out there?
Yeah, as you just mentioned, like there are so many tools in there and it is just a growing list out there. But one thing is, no one tool is fitting it all. There are multiple tools which are handling certain aspects better than the other tools. But I have prepared a list with some of the popular tools that are like standing out in the market currently, or which we have actually personally integrated and used or experienced in our own development cycles. So starting off is GitHub Copilot. So this has been like a very helpful real-time coding help, which has helped in fixing small bugs and all. But now it has also entered this scenario where it helps us in summarizing the PRs and going through them and analyzing and giving us feedback as well. The second one is CodeRabbit. So CodeRabbit is also very excellent for providing detailed PR feedback. It has also grown up in capabilities to actually try to understand the context of the PR and provide feedback on both like the style and the logic as well. Then moving on is Sync and Codassi. These are some tools which are more focused on the security, the code quality, the compliance aspect of the coding. So if you want your code to be much more secure, much more resilient and reliable, I think these are some of the tools to check out. And then some of the other tools which are coming up are like Gemini Code Assistant, as well as there is also Amazon Code Guru. So these are also very easy to plug in, and they also are very versatile, providing very helpful summaries, suggestions, and explanations of the reviews.
Right. Out of all these, my personal favorite is Gemini. I think Gemini has a very good stack lined up on their platform. So that's been my daily driver. But I think the best tool also depends on your team's goals and the workflow, the kind of workflows that you're configuring for, right? So let's say if your primary focus is, or if you have a very specific use case where your main focus is security, I think it's worth it to dig deeper and do research about tools like Sync and Codassi.
Right.
But for general purpose, for most teams out there, any popular reviewing tool will do the job. So I think it's not worth wasting time, whatever option you have. And also sometimes with the enterprise licenses, let's say if you already have a Cursor subscription, they have a PR reviewing tool available as well out of the box. So any start is good start. So yeah, that's
Yeah, and also as we previously mentioned as well, these are very easy to set up directly in your GitHub workflow or CI/CD pipeline. We can just set them up and they'll blend right into your process instantly.
Nice. So now that we know what tools to explore, can we actually see them in action?
Yeah, sure, why not? So for this session, we have actually prepared a sample PR. I'll quickly bring that up. So yeah, for this PR, we have actually configured in our code base two review tools. One is CodeRabbit and the other is a Gemini Code Assistant. And to make things interesting, we have pushed some changes with intentional issues like some inefficient loops, unclear code, and some small security concern as well, just to test how these tools will actually perform, or they will actually recognize these issues and provide suggestions. So both are configured directly into our GitHub repository, and as soon as this PR was raised, these tools immediately kicked in. They analyzed this code and gave us a like summary of what is happening over here, and then reviewed the code and provided their comments just as a normal reviewer would, highlighting the code and providing the suggestions. So to start things off, I'd just start with the summaries which are provided by the code rabbit. So if we go through and see over here, so code rabbit has also actually smartly recognized that there is another bot also present over here and is trying to avoid the duplicate findings, which is cute. But moving on, next is the walkthrough. So it is here highlighting what are the files which are changed, what is the summary, like what are the new additions or what it is trying to do, and what are the issues that are present, or what could be done better. The plus point is these diagrams. So these diagrams are actually very helpful to understand the changes done in a more better way and in a graphical way, right?
Yes. And this is a very code rabbit specific feature, isn't it? I think you don't find this feature in other tools. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, it is like native to CodeRabbit for now. Hopefully others will also catch up soon. Yeah, so there are actually two sequence diagrams it has created. One is for one file, the also highlighting the issues which it might have looked into, and the other is also just to highlight what is happening and how the process calls are being made. After this, if we go through it, there are a few checks it has done. So one is that has failed is actually the title check. So if you might have noticed, our PR title is not that descriptive and is not as per the standards which we usually follow. So it has actually highlighted the same and asked us to look into this. Then what has passed is the description, because we did a good job over there providing all the details. And there is one more hidden touch, that is the finishing touches. This is for the currently a beta version, but just highlights what are the future capabilities which we might get with the latest development that is going on in the code review tools. So this just highlights we might be soon getting a like PR unit test, and just it will also add us a capability to also efficiently test the PR changes, right, automatically.
Right.
Yeah, and on the similar lines to the CodeRabbit, we have also the Gemini code assistant over here. It is also very descriptive enough, highlighting what has changed, what are the major changes it has recognized, and what are some of the security concerns it wants us to look into and actually tackle before we move forward with the PRs.
Interesting. So they understand the entire changes that have made. They know the context and they generate this meaningful summary sort of it.
Right.
Interesting.
Yeah. So Venu, why don't you take it forward?
Sure. So we also have these bots directly commenting on the code at exact places. So if you see right now, there is a bug. I mean, there is a improvement that needs to be done. We have some hard-coded values in the code. So this bot is immediately recognizing this and it raises a comment right there. So the interesting part is you also see it also has a suggestion. Like all you have to do is you just need to review what suggestion it has and you have to copy paste it and update the PR. So it's nice that the manual work is taken care of here.
Right.
So the one issue that we are seeing here is related to security, right? So it sees that there is a hard-coded value and it immediately raised a flag there. So same with this one as well. This is another standard security issue with string interpolation, right? So it has that context and it raises a flag immediately.
Right.
As someone who is reviewing or as someone who is raising this PR, all you have to do is go through these changes and like it is also possible sometimes these tools can raise false positives. So it is on you to manually review it and decide which one to take and which one to ignore. So
Right.
yeah.
And also, if you look into this was one of the function which was just to check the strength of the password. So it recognized the context and has actually provided us better way to handle this. Like, it might not be the most efficient function that we might have written. So it has actually provided us with better suggestions. So what could be a better way to actually test and make your passwords more secure and strengthen, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So I think it's also possible to tweak the settings of these tools, right? So if you want to optimize for performance, you can do that. Or if you want to optimize for readability or security, these things are possible. So I think this adaptability is what makes these teams easier to integrate into any workflow. Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So now we have seen all the good things about this AI, but I'm sure there are also some limitations, right? So what's your take on those?
Yeah, actually, you are correct. So AI is not perfect. It is still a work in progress. If we go through the versions of these AI review tools, also the first few versions might not be that effective. That is why maybe we saw those reviews that we mentioned at the introduction part. But now with the rapid development, it is still growing, learning, but it is still possible that they might still miss the point, especially when the code is involving like complex business logic, or when it is tackling some unusual domain specific patterns which these AI review tools might not have encountered previously while training or something. So it is sometimes giving us suggestions which do not make actually sense, or raising some false positives or flag things as issues which might not be actually issues when considering the domain related stuff, or when considering the business logic perspective over there, right?
Right. So the reviews that we sorry. So the reviews that we talked about at the beginning of this session, there is definitely some truth to it, right? So these
Right.
AI tools, they lack the business context, so they cannot always. Sometimes they can also give false positives. So I think it's always important that there is a human in the loop to manually review them and take the final call. So yeah.
Exactly. And there's one takeaway that I would like to mention over here is, like, think of AI as that smart teammate which will help you to speed things up. It will still need to be double checked, like whatever work they has done, it will still need to be double checked, and but it is just there to assist us. It is not going to replace the actual human reviewer that we are talking about. It is just there to make their job more easier than it is currently. So this is also the same way we have integrated these tools into our own processes. Like, we let these AI review tools do the first screening, the first pass, and then we let the human reviewers come into the scenario, who take a look on what are the suggestions made by the AI tools, and if needed, whether to take those up or ignore those, and then handle or focus more on the logical or the design aspects in the pull request before actually moving forward with the merging part, right?
Correct. So it's like having an extra pair of eyes, which is always active, right? And the feedback is always instant. So that's the main advantage I think we have with this.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Right. To summarize, I think AI tools, we have definitely found it useful. I think they're definitely making code reviews faster. The code quality has also improved. Uh, the added advantage, if you can tweak it a bit, you can also customize it for your own needs. Let's say if your focus is mainly on security, you can have this static analysis configuration done directly on these tools. So yeah, definitely I think they are reducing the repetitive work, and the overall consistency is increased in the review process. Yep.
Yeah, so these are actually also helping the new junior developers like get instant feedback which they can work upon immediately and before the second person comes in. So that is a great learning tool also. And another thing is AI is not going to replace the human reviewers, but just the teams that will learn to work with it and will learn to integrate those into their processes. I think those will be the ones who will move faster and deliver a better code. So it is just about finding that balance so that letting AI handle the grunt work or the tedious work while humans can focus more on the creativity, the logic, as well as the decision making aspects of the development process.
Totally agree there. Yeah, so before we conclude, I see there are some questions in the chat window here. So I think we can. So Dinesh has this question. He's asking about the code consistency. Like, how do you see AI code reviews improving cross-team consistency when different teams follow different coding standards? So, Mehak, you want to take that?
Yeah, sure. So actually, I think we covered this part where these tools are actually allowing us the capability to configure those settings with which or through which these parameters are going through. The tools are actually going through, so we can actually configure like what should be the standard processes that we want to follow. And I guess these are some YAML files which are available to configure the settings in the for CodeRabbit at least that we know of. So yeah, I think using those configurations, we can definitely let them know what are the standard practices we want to follow, which they can AI tools can learn and implement over in the next reviews that they might be doing for us.
Right. So this is possible by tweaking the settings of these tools.
Right.
So yeah. And Hemant has another question.
Okay.
So what about false negatives? That is the tool missing some things. Well, I mean, this is very much possible. The reason is, I think we have highlighted this point during the session. So these AI tools at any given moment are only looking at the updated files, or they have limited context. So they don't know the business context. So it is very much possible. So I think the responsibility is on the person who is reviewing the code to make sure, or whoever is raising the PR as well, right? Sometimes you have to take the final call and call of the AI tools. Like, you'll have to ignore those the false negatives that these tools are raising. So yeah, I think this is something that cannot be. And honestly, I want to be in charge about these things. Like all the important decisions, all the architectural and design decisions, I want to be in the loop. I want to take those decisions myself. So yeah, this is something we'll have to learn to adjust while we use these tools.
Right. So Pavan has also one more question. So he mentions that he agrees with our point that AI is enhancing and fast tracking the process, but he wants to know about our take on trusting these AI reviews completely to complete extent and shipping the code to the production just on the reviews that AI might have done. So Pavan, I think Venu has already covered the same question to an extent. And also, as we have highlighted throughout the session as well, AI is just there to assist us. So it should still be considered that humans should come up and review their work as well before 100% relying on whatever the AI has given us. Because I think, just as Venu mentioned, we still want to be in complete control of what we are actually shipping finally, and not just rely on AI because of its tendencies to give us still some false positives and false negatives out there.
Right. So I think the way to solve this is, I mean, you just have to use these tools responsibly, right? You cannot you have to optimize them to avoid all the repetitive work, but you cannot also blindly trust it.
Blindly
So
trust.
you,
Yes.
as long as you're using it responsibly, you should be able to ship proper code to production. We have one last question. If a team wants to start using AI for code reviews and QA next month, what's the first small step you would recommend? Meg, you want to take that?
Sure. So I think starting off with integrating the AI code review tools in your GitHub. If you are using it if you are using GitHub, then try integrating it over there. So just set it up so that the AI will kick in. They will analyze whatever the PR is incoming and provide you the feedback. So just start slow. First, try to just understand whatever the summaries it might be giving, and then look into what are the suggestions they are doing, and then understand or decide whether you want to take those recommendations or you want to not to take those recommendations. And slowly you will get to know what are the patterns these tools are actually working upon, and you can integrate those into your processes seamlessly. And yeah, later on these can also extend to your quality assurance tests as well. So yeah, I think that is how we should go about it.
Right. And so if you're not confident with what tools to use, I think there are many free options out there. For example, Gemini Code Assistant is a very solid tool, but it has a very it doesn't charge you any money, at least as of now. You can directly plug it into your GitHub and you can start using it. And like Mehak said, you don't even have to consider the suggestions that these tools are giving you. Just take a look at it, review them. Over time, you'll get a gist of the kind of bugs that it is spotting. And also sometimes if you're working on legacy projects, right, so with every PR that you raise, the tool could be giving you a lot of feedback because of the existing code. So you may not be able to take all of it at once, but it's definitely worth it to keep reviewing the kind of suggestions that these tools are raising. So yeah.
So Ashwin is also asking one question. He says that how can we customize these AI code review tools to get better context of the code base? Like sometimes the suggestions are not always correct, and they can also how can it learn to do do we just add the tool to the code base, or how can it learn about the context of the code base? Venu, do you want to take this?
Yeah. Just give me a second. I don't see this.
So I'll start it off. So Ashwin, to just answer this. So first of all, this is one of the limitations we might have talked through the session, that there is a lack of context of the code base for these AI review tools, yet it is not 100% efficient to be completely reliable. So when the business logic gets complex, or the code base becomes too vast, it is still not aware of all the things that might be happening or what might be happening. So I think for now these tools are not yet 100% code context reliable. So the only way these can learn about the code base is letting them train on those for as long as we can. I think as the PRs increase, they might start to understand what the code base they are working on, and they'll definitely get a gist of it after some time.
But also important to highlight, so these tools, they have a limitation, right? So any tool that you take right now, any best LLM that you take right now, there is a maximum context that you can fit into it.
Right.
So there are also some natural limitations that are there. So yeah, like what you're asking for is only partly possible, at least for now. So yeah. Okay, so in the Q&A section, I see another question from Hemant. So he's asking if these tools are language independent. Yes, they are language independent. So most of these LLMs are trained very well on all the popular options out there. So yeah, I mean, we don't have to, there is no configuration that needs to be done from our side to start using these tools. They will automatically recognize the language that you're using, and they will keep giving you suggestions right away.
Right, agree.
All right. I think we have, those are all the questions that we have. Right, I think we can wrap it up here. Oh, we have one last question. Right, so Satish is asking about the data privacy measures, right? So, I mean, this is a very serious thing for any team, right? So most of our repositories are all private, and all the tools that we are using, they promise us that they don't use our code for training their own models. So this is just, but again, like, this is not if we are really if we really want to be extremely careful, I think it's better to go with open source options out there. So where you have your own language model, but you can configure them on your server. You can configure the bot on your GitHub, which will review the PRs. You can basically have the entire GitHub Copilot thing with an open source alternative. There is some overhead to it. You'll have to maintain your own infrastructure, but that's one. But honestly, I think this is not something like most people will have to worry about, right? So GitHub Copilot and CodeRabbit, these are all popular tools that many people use. So we can take their word for it. Like, the code should be the code is not leaving our repository. So that is something that is guaranteed from their side. All right. Sure, I think those are all the questions that we have. So we can wrap this up. So thanks everyone for joining this session, and thank you, Mehak. That was an insightful conversation. So we're hoping that this session has given you some context, and now hopefully you know where to start with these AI tools. Yep.
Yeah, thank you everyone for being here, and hopefully this will help you start exploring your own AI code reviews tools in your own project soon. So I really appreciate your time, and thank you once again.
All right. Thank you.